The psychology of self-motivation. How are self-efficacy and motivation related? Psychologist Scott Geller is at the forefront of research on self-motivation, and he explains that there are 3 questions you'll be able to use to work out whether you, or someone in your life, is self-motivated. 1. Are you able to do it? 2. Will it work? 3. Is it worth it? If you answered yes to every question, you're likely self-motivated. If you think you'll be intimate, you've got self-efficacy. If you suspect it'll work, you have got response efficacy, belief that the action you're taking will result in the result you would like. And if you think it's worthwhile, you've got weighed the price against the implications and decided the implications outweigh the value. Geller, 2016. Speaking of consequences, Geller considers consequences to be one in all 4 vital C words that underpin self-motivation. 1. Consequences. To be self-motivated, you sincerely should want the results related to the actions you are taking instead of simply doing something to avoid negative consequences. 2. Competence. If you answer all 3 of the questions above with a yes, you'll feel competent in your ability to induce things done. 3. Choice. Having a way of autonomy over your actions encourages self-motivation. 4. Community. Having social support and connections with others is critical for feeling motivated and believing in yourself and your power to realize. Geller, 2016. Much of Geller's work on self-motivation is grounded within the research of psychologist and self-efficacy researcher Albert Bandura. In 1981, Bandura set the stage for Geller's current conceptualization of self-motivation with this description: self-motivation requires personal standards against which to gauge ongoing performance. By making self-satisfaction conditional on a particular level of performance, individuals create self-inducements to act their efforts until their performances match internal standards. Both the anticipated satisfactions for matching attainments and also the dissatisfactions with insufficient ones provide incentives for self-directed actions. Bandura and Shunk, 1981. From this quote, you'll see where Geller's 3 questions come from. Believing that you just can roll in the hay, that it'll work, which it's worthwhile will drive you to match the inner standards you set for yourself. We explore this further within the Science of Self-Acceptance Masterclass. Copyright. The importance of self-motivation. As you've got likely already guessed, self-motivation is a crucial concept. While pleasing others and meeting external standards can certainly motivate us to urge things done, such efforts aren't exactly labors of affection. In other words, doing things because we feel we've got to try and do them or to achieve some external reward is enough in many cases, but it doesn't invoke the eagerness needed to drive innovation and excellence. It's fine to use external sources to motivate you in some areas, but external motivation is a smaller amount likely to go away you feeling personally fulfilled and finding deeper meaning in your life. Not only can we generally do better work once we are self-motivated, but we are better ready to address stress and are simply happier after we do what we wish to be doing. Is self-motivation a skill, and might it's developed through training? Given the advantages of being self-motivation, your next question may be, am I able to become more self-motivated? The answer may be a definite yes. Self-motivation is driven by a collection of skills that are within your control. Read on to find out a way to use this to your advantage. 12 tips and skills to motivate yourself today. The abilities you wish website lists 6 vital skills that form the muse of self-motivation, and that they are all skills that you simply can develop through sustained effort. 1. Setting high but realistic goals, e.g., SMART goals. 2. Taking the proper level of risk. 3. Constantly seeking feedback to work out the way to improve. 4. Being committed to non-public and/or organizational goals and going the additional mile to realize them. 5. Actively seeking out opportunities and seizing them after they occur. 6. Having the ability to cater to setbacks and still pursue your goals despite obstacles, i.e., resilience. Further, there are 6 stuff you can do to keep up your self-motivation. 1. Continue learning and acquiring knowledge, i.e., develop a love of learning. 2. Spend time with motivated, enthusiastic, and supportive people. 3. Cultivate a positive mindset and build your optimism and resilience. 4. Identify your strengths and weaknesses, and work on them. 5. Avoid procrastination and work on some time management skills. 6. Get help once you need it, and be willing to assist others succeed. Skills you would like. N.D. 14 strategies for college kids to extend their self-motivation. To review, students are particularly well suited to reap the advantages of self-motivation, but it is hard to be self-motivated within the current educational environment. Luckily, there are some stuff you can do as teachers, parents, and adult mentors to assist students become self-motivated. Additionally, there are lots of strategies that students can apply themselves. Here are some ideas for the way to encourage self-motivation in students. 1. Provide students with the maximum amount autonomy and freedom of choice as possible, e.g., give students a choice in their seating arrangements or a variety of options for his or her final project, and implement problem-based learning. 2. Provide useful feedback, praise exertions, and deliver critical feedback using words like and what if rather than but to encourage student competence. 3. Cultivate a high-quality relationship together with your students by taking a real interest in them, acting friendly, staying flexible, keeping your specialize in the tip goal of learning, and not let go on them. 4. Encourage your students to consider and discuss how what they're learning has relevancy to their own lives. For Lotso, 2015. And here are some ways in which students can bolster their own self-motivation. 5. Attach assuming to your studies and take personal ownership over your knowledge and learning. 6. Create a plan, plan your semester, your month, your week, and even your day. 7. Build a routine and apply time management skills to become more organized and productive. 8. Identify several comfortable study environments. They should keep mum and have few distractions. 9. Get enough sleep, eat nutritious food, and exercise regularly to remain healthy. 10. Tame time monsters just like the internet, video games, or unproductive time spent with friends. 11. Avoid multitasking by choosing one subject or task to figure on at a time and focusing all of your attention on it. 12. Take planned, and well-earned, breaks to remain refreshed and motivated. 13. Connect with a network of friends and family who will encourage you to try and do your best. 14. Talk positively to yourself. Buckle, 2013. How to foster self-motivation within the workplace. You may find it much easier to encourage self-motivation within the workplace than at school. After all, everyone within the workplace is there because they chose to be there, not because they're required to be there by the law or by their parents. Employees may need vastly disparate reasons for being at work, but it's unlikely they were compelled to figure for his or her specific organization against their will. As a manager, there are many ways to foster self-motivation within the workplace, including 1. Giving your employees one-on-one attention, feedback, and recognition. 2. Ensure your employees have opportunities for meaningful advancement similarly as training and education opportunities. 3. Set the instance in terms of tone, work ethic, and values. Be a task model for positivity, optimism, and hard work. 4. Cultivate an uplifting and motivating culture that encourages employees to need to try and do their best. 5. Foster socialization through teamwork and team-based activities, projects, and events. 6. Stay as transparent as possible and open yourself up to questions, concerns, and ideas from your employees. Implement and trade policy to make sure your employees feel heard. Demers, 2015. Writers Nick Nanton and J.W. Dix at Fast Company offer some further strategies to make sure that both you and your employees stay motivated. 1. Sell your mission statement to your team as you'd to an investor. Make sure the people working to fulfill that mission know it and put it. 2. Foster a culture during which each employee contains a specific job and a selected role with the organization, and provides them room to grow and opportunities to implement ambitious new ideas. 3. Target inspiring your staff rather than just motivating them. Inspired employees will inherently be motivated. 4. Show your team recognition and appreciation for the diligence they do. 5. Share your passion together with your team and lead from the front by developing a positive mindset and displaying a positive attitude. 2015. Techniques to motivate yourself at work. You can also take hold of your own self-motivation at work. Some good techniques for becoming more self-motivated at work include 1. Finding work that interests you. This could be a vital tip. It's much easier to be self-motivated once you are hooked into what you are doing and fully engaged in it. 2. Request feedback from your boss or colleagues to be told about where you'll be able to improve and to reinforce role clarity. 3. Learn a brand new skill that's relevant to your role or your required role. 4. Enkindle a raise. Financial incentives are generally considered extrinsic motivation, but if you're pleased with your position, being paid what you're thinking that you're worth is very self-motivating. 5. Remind yourself of your why, the rationale you are doing the work you are doing. Once you do meaningful work, you're more likely to seek out fulfillment and stay self-motivated. 6. Volunteer your services to others. This is particularly helpful if you've got trouble defining your why. 7. Take a vacation to permit yourself to rest, recharge, and are available back refreshed and prepared to figure. Stahl, 2016. Research on self-motivation. The research on self-motivation clarifies its vital role in helping us achieve our goals. Take a look at the findings on two important and related topics below. Self-discipline and self-motivation. While self-discipline and self-motivation are two distinct concepts, self-discipline is significant to maintaining self-motivation. It's not enough simply to be self-motivated. To achieve your goals, you wish to couple self-motivation with self-discipline. A study of online learners showed that while they may all be considered self-motivated since they're all taking a voluntary course with the goal of learning, those with self-discipline were the foremost likely to succeed. Those that were highly self-disciplined displayed higher competence at the tip of the course, fulfilled more external tasks, and were more practical in achieving their goals. Gorbanovs, Kapanakes, and Kakula, 2016. Self-motivation and weight loss. Very often, self-motivation may be a key component of weight loss. Research on the connection between the two is kind of clear. In multiple studies, researchers found that participants who reported greater autonomy, support, and self-determined motivation were more practical in losing weight, more likely to stay the load off for extended periods of your time, and more positive about their weight loss journey. Teixeira, Silva, Mata, Palmera, and Markland, 2012. When we have our own closely held reasons for desirous to lose weight, and these reasons are supported personal fulfillment instead of meeting external standards, we are far more likely to seek out success. 17 activities, exercises, and worksheets for self-motivation (PDFs). If you're trying to find more specific and practical ways to enhance self-motivation, you'll be happy to grasp that there are loads of resources out there for you. Check out the activities, exercises, and worksheets below to seek out ways to boost your self-motivation. Or, share these resources together with your clients to assist them get self-motivated.